Hi, people. A very, very good morning to all of you out there. I see a lot of women names coming up on the screen. It really excites me to always address women out there. So it's my privilege and honor, and a very big thank you to Jane and College for organizing this lovely webinar on a very, very beautiful day. Um, So the topic today is to reinvent yourself, right? So generally, when we talk about invention, right, it's something that comes up as a new thing within us, right? So we invent a lot of things about our own self. So like that, this lockdown period, this period of um, uh, the quarantine has really helped us to invent a lot of things that was sleeping inside of us. You know, if you open social media, you will find people with uh, discovering new talents, posting pictures about cooking, sweeping, mopping the house, um, a lot of other inventions, singing, a lot of TikTok videos that you see, and things like that. So, on the entertainment side, on a very lighter side, people have started inventing what was sleeping inside of them. You know, they've started to discover what is inside of them. The human brain is such that it is beautifully made in such a way that it can learn anything, which is very, very impossible is what we thought, or probably difficult is what we thought. But the human brain can actually learn everything if we give it a little time and attention. So, reinventing yourself, being, children from the college, as growing children, you have a lot of virgin brain. They say that's called a virgin brain because there's no lot of responsibilities or commitments onto your head sitting, whereas the people who are of older age have a lot of commitments, responsibilities, stress, and things like that. But for your age and for your happy life, there's a lot of things that you guys can learn during this period. So I'm here today to tell you a few pointers as suggestions that you can take up in your life and practice every day, so that makes you a very, very dynamic individual in all the 40s of your life, right? So, as I'm talking, just let me know if you have any doubts while coming in. Um, if you have any questions to ask me, you can definitely write it. I can see people writing in few morning wishes there. So just let me know when you have this doubt in your mind. Just write it down so I can make a note of it and I can talk to you about that as well. I'm a psychologist, so basically, I deal with human beings, very genuinely connecting to human beings. And to connect to a human being is the most fascinating thing for me in life. Nothing excites me than talking to another human being. So I think being very successful in life and in my career is because of having the right connections with right human beings. So in this period, the brain is pretty much not working too much for all of us, right? Because we're at home, we don't know what to do, we have so much of boredom in the house. So what is more important at this point in time in life is to focus on good things, right? There are always people complaining about anything at all every day. You know, the food is not okay, the garment is not okay, this is not okay, that is not okay. I don't like this lockdown period. I'm not able to see my friends. I'm not able to see my relatives. I'm held up in my hometown. I'm not able to go meet uh, my interesting people in life. I'm not able to go for a movie. I'm not able to go out for shopping and things like that. We keep complaining about everything every day, not intentionally. Also, sometimes it just comes out of practice, as a habit, that we keep complaining about things every single day. So the first thing that I would want to encourage you today is you should probably stop complaining about things, um, because we are so blessed to have a life that we can breathe, we have food, we have a shelter. So it's very, very important that we understand that we are so blessed. We are blessed beyond our favor. So stop complaining. Try to do this as a practice every one day in 1 week. You can start this at your house. Stop complaining to your mom that your food is not okay. Stop complaining there's no delicious food or probably an exotic food in the house. Stop complaining the TV remote is not in your hand. Stop complaining about every little thing that you can stop complaining about. Um, be thankful for what you have in your life. So that is something very important that will turn you as a person, as a very positive person when people look at you. Um, yeah, the other thing is uh, people can now take this opportunity to adapt to change. Adapting to change is very important because for us, human brain is actually generally, it is put up to a proper routine. Right? I get up at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I have my shower, have a coffee, and have breakfast, go to college, come back, or go to office, come back, and things like that. So when there is a deviation in this kind of a routine, people generally don't accept it. They start writing about it on social media. They troll it on social media. They put memes about all this, saying that we don't like all this. It's kind of boring. I don't know why would government ask us to be in the house. Why should I wear a mask when I go out? Why should I be like this and things like that? So we keep talking about the whole thing in a very negative way. When during this entire lockdown period from March 22nd till now, there's not even one day that I've been in the house, not because I was against the government's rule. I was into a lot of social activities, and being a healthcare professional, I was always there was a demand to be outside on the road. So I used to go visit all the homeless people on the road, give them food and things like that. So that gave me one kind of a satisfaction about the whole purpose of my life. When you see people like that on the road, it really gives you a feeling that you are blessed beyond everything. We have a shelter. There are little children on the road who have no food, no water, no basic necessities. There are women out there on the road who have nothing at all. So we also generally see them on road when we go to our work, when we go to our college. We see all of these people on the road, but we generally don't take it to our head, because we probably look at it like, yeah, I mean, they're always there on the road, so what big deal? But what is very, very important here that you have to see is um, helping one individual is very, very important. If you think that, okay, I cannot do anything big in their lives, what you can do is at least offer one meal to them. You have, in your neighborhood, if you look at people, there are a lot of people who have no food, no shelter, no water, right? So this period will actually help you in growing a very beautiful human inside of you. So when you go outside to buy groceries, or when you go out to buy your essentials, um, or if you have seen people on the road, and if you remember that these people are there on the road without food and water and shelter, offer them a package of food cooked from your house. It really, really helps them, and you don't know the amount of gratitude and thankfulness they will have towards you. So, this is very, very important that when you go out, this will develop the humanity in yourself, and this will spread in the community. Just like how this COVID-19 is spreading around the community, this goodness in you will also start spreading around the community, right? Um, so that's something that I would want to tell you today. And then expressing yourself is very, very important. Now, most of the times when I meet my patients, the very primary thing that they don't do is expressing themselves to people. Generally, if you see somebody inside the house very worried, very sad, we just ask them, what's wrong with you, and then we just leave it like that because we know that they will handle the problem by themselves. But most of the times, what happens is people are unheard. They are unheard, and nobody listens to them. So develop the habit of listening to people when they are expressing something to you. And you, in turn, also try to express what you feel like to a very trustable, reliable human being. We all have friends, right? Now, all the friends we cannot go and share and things like that. But what you can do is you can definitely go talk to them, um, listen to them. Hello, right? You can just keep writing it, and I can read it and I can note it. I can give it an answer for myself. Right. Okay. Okay, let me just finish the previous one. So, expressing yourself is very, very important because that's how human connect develop. So, try to express yourself when somebody is sad, when somebody is expressing, try to listen to that and try to provide your ears to them or try to provide a suggestion to them so that that'll help another human being. A lot of suicides in this globe happens because there are no enough people to listen. So, if you think that it's none of my business, it's a very bad attitude to be a human being. The right attitude as a human being is when somebody shares something to you as a sadness, a worry, a misery in life. As a good human being, you should be able to listen to them at least. If you're not able to give them a solution, that's fine. Um, if you're not able to counsel them, that is fine. But it's very, very important that you listen to them, hear out to them. So that will help this individual to come out of the stress that he or she knows that there's somebody reliable that I can talk to, right? Uh, Coming back to this question of anxiety. Okay, now anxiety is something that everybody generally gets into anxiety, right? Let's say for working professionals, it's like, how do I pay my bills? My EMI is there, my commitments, financial commitments, family commitments are all there. For people like you studying and being in colleges, what is going to be the college future like? Will I be able to get back to college? Will I be able to study? How is the situation going to be in the entire country, entire city? Will I be able to, will my parents be able to meet the financial crisis that's going to come up very soon? There are a lot of questions, very practical questions in human life at this point in time. So these all can give you an anxiety as such. When you look at the news, is it safe to go out? There are a lot of people dying every day. The news keeps, coming up with a, breaking news, and there's one thundering music behind that develops an anxiety also for us. Honestly, if you ask me, not even one day I've sat down in front of the television. Not just this period, but generally I don't sit down in front of television when there is news that creates anxiety, right? Generally, we capture information and then process it in our brain and then get anxious. So, to avoid that, I generally don't involve myself in anything that is getting me anxious. So I don't know how many people are dying every day. I don't know how many people are checked positive on coronavirus or COVID-19. I don't know what measures government has taken unless and until there is an announcement as to when the lockdown ends, or wear a mask, don't go out. All these instructions I take, but otherwise I don't take any other count as such to my head. The reason being, it is not like I'm not bothered about it. It is very simple that as a human being, as an individual, as a citizen of this country, what I can do is just protect myself and stay inside the house. And even if I'm going out, I have to be hygienic, I have to be protected, I have to be germophobic um, to not to destroy anybody's health as well as my health as well. So that is all we can do. And for our own personal gratification, for our personal satisfaction, yes, My signals are the same. Right. Okay. It's not clear. Okay, fine. So, generally, I don't check all these breaking news for that particular purpose. But you cannot be, again, inside the house just not doing anything, right? So, all I told you about this in the previous pointer, when you go out, you can be of some help to somebody. That will give you a great satisfaction. But when you take inputs from television, from people, calling you and telling you, hey, you know what happened? There are a lot of people next to my house who are tested for positive. My place is quarantined and things like that. When you hear things like that, you develop anxiety. And if it's a financial anxiety, now it's time for you to plan your budgets. A lot of people out there are college goers. This is the time that that, we can live in minimal budget of our lives. There is an experiment that was recently done where an individual can live with 47 rupees a day, right? That includes the mobile phone access, internet, the electricity bill, the food, shelter, clothing, everything. An individual can live happily with sufficient food of 3 meals for 47 rupees a day. So, which means all these years we've been living a life which is extravaganza, which is too much of a luxury. And we still keep complaining that we don't have money, we don't have clothes, we don't have food, we don't have anything, right? So now that this lockdown period has actually taught us that it is a very simple life, and we can live a life which is very, very simple with minimal amount of money. Okay, so if you say that money is a problem, I would say that you have to adapt yourself, change your lifestyle to live a simple life. Okay. Now, what happens to all the EMIs, the loans that you've paid? It's pending. There's a lot of things, financial responsibilities onto your head. I would say again, it's a learning because we've already done it and now we cannot go back and erase it, right? So all you can do is um, from going forward now, stop getting EMIs, stop getting credit cards, stop getting loans, and try to manage life with the salary that you get. With the income you get, you spend it as an outcome, right? So um, do not try to spend something that is beyond your hand. For me as a practice, I'm 35 years. For me as a practice, I never have used a credit card in my life. I've never taken an EMI. I've never taken any postpaid connections, be it a mobile phone or a television connection or anything of that sort. Everything is prepaid. Everything is only with the salary that I get. In that way, you don't have to be anxious about what is going to happen for tomorrow, right? If you are working um, and if you probably think that what happens to my job, for me, I you know that I'm a psychologist and a physiotherapist as well. But my entire life I have been a trainer. I have been a life coach where I train on corporate people. I go talk about life coaching and things like that. I worked as a teacher. I've worked as a telecaller. I've My last assignment was with a hotel, a five-star hotel. I was heading marketing and public relations. So I have done various jobs. It's because I'm somebody who would like to experiment a lot of things and experience a lot of genres as such. I'm not that somebody who is streamlined or so focused to do only one thing in life. I want to experience life in many ways. So, and that gives you a lot of experience. You meet a lot of people, and I think that way I feel really good about life itself, right? So you should try various things in this lockdown period. Try to explore what can make you happy as an individual. Try to explore good hobbies for yourself. Don't stick on to the television, don't stick on to the mobile phone. This will reduce your anxiety daily, because the reason is we are in a very fast world. Earlier those days, I remember my parents, when I was young, they don't throw slippers out of the house. It's once it's torn or once it's gone away, they don't throw it out of the house. They give it to the cobbler, they stitch it, they mend it, right? So we used to carry that in bags and go to the cobbler, give it to them, and they used to stitch that for us and give it back. And we used to wear that. Nowadays, I don't even see a cobbler on the road. Very, very rarely I see one cobbler in one particular area, and we don't have the tendency to go and mend the shoes and wear it. I think that should have to come back to us as a practice. Once a thing is gone, we have to repair it and again use it, not just throw it and buy a new thing. So these simple things in life will bring back very simplicity to your life, and also anxiety will reduce. If you have excitement to buy new things, have new things with you, stock up new things, or stock up things in your life, you will definitely build up anxiety. It is very, very important that you understand it's very, very easy to have a very simple life. But if you complicate it with your own desires, then it's going to be an anxious life. So try to have a very simple life, simple budget to live. That will reduce your anxiety towards anything. And I have a question here: how to handle Okay, Saraswati Ponmani has asked, is crying a good solution for every problem, especially for women? A very, very beautiful question, Saraswati. Thanks for asking that. Crying is definitely not a bad thing. Just like laughing, just like smiling, just like anger, smiling, crying is also an emotion that has to be there in every individual, regardless the gender. If you get the survey, a recent survey on cardiac arrest, men have more cardiac arrests than women. The reason being they don't cry. Men are not allowed to cry in our society. We generally say men shouldn't cry, men shouldn't be expressing crying emotion. Don't cry like a woman. That's what they say, right? So it is very important. A man also is allowed to cry, and crying is no crime. Okay, women especially, they are treated in a very weaker way when it comes to crying, because we use it as a weapon. Most of the times we use it as a weapon to cry for any problem that comes in. So what is very, very important for us as a woman to understand is crying is not a solution, but crying is an emotion, right? When somebody is asking you about something very serious, and then you start laughing, uh, you will look like a mentally retarded person, right? So just like that, when there is a problem and you start crying, you definitely look like a very weaker person. So that is what they say, that women always take crying as a weapon. So crying is not wrong. Crying is a nice emotion to exhibit your expressions, to show how much you love somebody, how much you miss somebody, how much you mean to them. Those part of life you definitely need crying. How hurting are you inside? You can cry and let people know that how hurting is it inside. But when there's a problem, crying is definitely not a solution. So it's not a tool for us to escape out of that problem. You can feel sad, but you cannot be crying, right? So there's a lot of difference about being sad and uh, you know always crying for a problem. So you need to understand that crying is not bad, but crying when problem is there is not a right solution at all. Okay, so I just read another question as well. How can we burst stress? Any best solution? Saranya Vijay. Um, Stress management is a very vast topic, but as I told you, don't put yourself in stress. For me, I practice that very religiously. I don't look at videos, news, anything that creates any stress. In personal life, I don't stress my life with bills, EBs or EMIs or loans. I don't stress myself like that. In terms of relationship, when there's a problem, I always sort it out before going to bed. um, for me, I feel that you should not carry this problem the next day morning and then make it very miserable for the other people in the house as well. So when there is an issue in the house between you, your mother, you, your father, or you and your siblings, you and your husband, you, your boyfriend, whatever issue it is, I think everything has to be sorted before the sun sets. Once it is settled down, the stress is out of your mind in terms of relationship, in terms of family connections. I'm talking about that. Um, uh, what can you talk? I just missed that question. Okay, so stress management is something that you don't first develop stress for yourself. And second of all, when there is stress, you need to handle it in the right way. Now, how do you handle it? You cannot just escape out of that stress. You cannot be thinking about the same thing again and again. Try to have some good hobbies created for yourself. I do a lot of drawing, very, very intricate, detailed drawing I do. That will actually help me meditate. That is more of a meditation for me. So you have to practice something like that for yourself, that you meditate with something. There are a lot of people who do yoga, exercise, they listen to music. Um, don't watch movies and things like that when you're stressed. People think it'll relieve you out of stress, but movies don't relieve you out of stress. Basically, they give you a lot of stress because again, human emotions that you see, and especially in the South Indian cinema that you see, is more about too much of drama and too much of emotions that you see in there. So I would suggest not to go and see a movie when you're stressed, but rather have an individual time for yourself. Take your car and drive, or have your bike and drive somewhere, ride somewhere. Being inside the house, you can develop a hobby. Try to sing, try to do videos for yourself, do some nice photographs, try to cook something new. Try something like that which will help you to relieve you from stress for that particular point. If you actually think that, this way, 2 years back, what stressed me a lot today doesn't even matter to me, right? I don't even remember what stressed me 2 years back. But that 2 years back, I would have probably, crying about the whole issue. I would have been very stressed out, talking to friends about that, family about that. So now I don't care about that anymore because it's just gone past. So any situation that is right now here today as a stress for you will go past very soon. Okay, there's a very beautiful thing in Tamil. They say that iduvum kadந்து pogum, right? So this too shall pass is what they say. Um, I have a tattoo on myself that actually says this too shall pass, because I like that so much. That the phrase of that, and I apply that in my life every single day. This too shall pass. Any stress, any anxiety, any fear, any worry, any sadness that comes in our way will pass out very soon. So don't be stagnant in that particular stress and don't make your life miserable. That is there one side, that misery, that sadness is there one side, but you have to function in your life every day. You have to move on. So have that in mind and come out of your stress. Develop a good hobby as well. Okay. Um, how to control fear and anger. A lot of people who ask about anger management. Um, Okay, I'm going to talk about anger management as well. Priyanka Srivatsa, how to overcome from depression during the lockdown. I'll answer that as well. Anger management is again, it's a single entity. You understand? It's like an individual struggling with anger or any other emotion for that matter. Depression again, right? Crying, happiness, excitement, sadness, all of these things are individually, I'm going through something, right? So to handle one human being, and that to myself, is a very easy thing, is what I believe, right? To handle somebody else will only create extra effort. But to handle my anger, I don't think it needs extra effort, right? So how do I handle it? When I am not angry, when I am not depressed, when I'm in a good mood, I um, I take few things from good things from the environment, from what I've studied or from what I've read, from what I've seen. I take that and put it inside myself. Okay. Now I will tell to myself, anger is actually creating a lot of stress to myself and to people who are around me. So I will not get angry at any given point in time, but on a longer run, we cannot measure that. But on a shorter goal, we can measure it. How do we measure it? The next immediate angry moment that you get in life, you will have to remind yourself what you put inside, right? So you have to tell yourself, I just spoke to myself saying that I will not get angry. So the immediate anger situation that you get in your life, maybe the next day or the day after, make sure you remind yourself that you spoke to yourself. You can be the best person to talk to yourself. Sometimes I stand in front of the mirror and I keep talking to myself. I advise my own self, because I feel that I can be the best counselor for myself. I don't want anybody else to come and counsel me, give me suggestions and advices about my life. It is very important that you like yourself, you love yourself, and then you talk to yourself. It's very, very important because this human being, the outer human being that I'm seeing, is operated by the inner being inside. Okay, so this inner being will have to come out and talk and tell this outer being, be good, don't be angry. Situations will come when see being angry is okay. I think as a human being, everyone would get angry. It's not like I will not get angry at all. You will get angry, but how do you manage it? You will manage it by not throwing things. You will manage it by not hitting onto the wall. You will manage it by not cutting yourself. You will manage it in a very quiet way. Anger management is not shouting and bursting out and crying, showing people that I'm angry. That doesn't work. That is not the right way to exhibit your anger. Sit down quietly, calm yourself quietly. If you feel like, hitting somebody, punching somebody, tearing apart somebody, or you want to hurt yourself, don't do that. That is where you really need a counselor to come and tell you, give you a therapy to manage your anger. But don't take yourself to that extreme. Be kind to yourself, right? So when you are when you know that you can be kind to yourself, you can be kind to others as well. When you yourself cannot be kind, then you will not be able to be kind to others. Being compassionate is a quality that you develop for yourself. So be kind to yourself. Just tell yourself, if there is another person opposite to you, would you react this way, right? Would you break their face? Would you tear them apart? Would you be very negative the way you're reacting? You won't, right? So just like that, tell yourself, be kind to yourself. Just touch yourself and say, be kind to yourself. Be kind. Don't be angry at yourself. It's okay. This situation has gone. Now, again, go back and think, when was the last time you were angry? Probably this morning because the coffee was not tasty, or probably the a good meal was not served to you. You would have felt angry. It's okay, but then don't express that anger. You don't have to express that anger. You can just say that you're upset about it, but you don't have to say that you're angry about it. Okay, so management is, yes, we have for anger management, there are a lot of therapies that a counselor can give you, but over a video conferencing, I don't think it'll be apt if I can tell you those therapies. Uh, try to um, try to inculcate a lot of hobbies for yourself. Calm down yourself. This is a very faster world, right? A very, very faster world. Earlier those days, if you watch television news, I don't know how many people are there from my age, about 35, 30 years, I don't know. Maybe you're quite young, but if you can just YouTube this particular news channels we had earlier, or we had the television earlier, it used to be only two channels, Doordarshan, right? So they used to have this very slow music in the morning, every time, even in the night, they used to have this very slow music, even for news. So this news was not like jung 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 and coming in with breaking news, the title in red color. It wasn't like that for us earlier. It was very, very calm. It was very quiet. Okay. Our dads used to come home very early by around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and they used to sleep in the house, right? But nowadays you find young generation of people sleeping very late. There was one question in this where I saw where how I'm not getting sleep in the night. It's because you've changed your pattern. You've changed your pattern of staying up awake in the night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, watching a movie, eating very late meals. Uh, Early risers we cannot even see nowadays, right? People don't get up at 6 o'clock. They ask us why should we get up at 6 o'clock? So it's very important that we have a routine for ourselves, discipline ourselves. Discipline is something that you create for yourself when nobody is watching. You understand? When the traffic police is not there, we cross the signal and go. That is not discipline. Discipline is something that I have for myself. Even nobody is watching me, I will still be disciplined. That kind of discipline you will have to get into when you are at home. This is a beautiful time for you to get into that. You can have, why 6 o'clock? Just get up by 7 o'clock, cook your meal, have a cup of coffee, have a proper schedule, just checklist it every day. You will feel very good about finishing, accomplishing your job every day. So that will actually give you a good level of confidence that you're able to write something the previous day and the next day you're able to execute it. So that will actually give you a self accomplishment. You'll feel nice about that achievement. It can be anything, just cleaning your room, cleaning your wardrobe, helping your mom at work, or helping your anybody at home, cleaning your vehicle, taking a walk every day, or probably walking 1,000 steps, 2,000 steps a day, doing something that you like. Have a checklist for yourself and the next day try to accomplish it, and you will feel so nice about yourself. You will feel so proud about yourself when you start doing all those things. Okay. How to deal with procrastination, Harpreet Kaur. Okay, Harpreet, thanks for that question. Uh, Okay, depression over continuous failure also I will talk. Okay, so this is procrastination. Procrastination is something that you feel lazy about doing, right? So you keep postponing it, that you don't want to do it today, maybe tomorrow, like that, right? So maybe next time, things like that. So for me as a practice, when I also used to procrastinate over a lot of things. So what I started doing is I used to write and keep it in a diary, right? So every time you can actually find me with a notepad like this and a pen. I don't know, for some reason I'm so used to carrying a pen and a notepad generally, or a small book with me. I keep writing what I want to do today or tomorrow, and I write dates. I have color pens like this, so I write it. It gives me one kind of excitement when I write it and keep. So I write everything, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 10. I have 10 to-do list. Even in the very simple thing that I have to comb my hair. Sometimes it's like that, because there's no time. You just brush your hair with your hands and come out. So today I want to comb my hair. I write it that I want to comb my hair and I keep it ready. You may find it very silly, but then it gives you a lot of accomplishment when you finish it. So you have 10 in the list, and then cleaning the vehicle is one big task for me. So I have all that in my checklist. So I keep ticking that every time I finish. So for a particular day, whatever you're procrastinating on, just write it and keep. Write a date, write all that you want to do, and see if you're able to finish it today evening, today night, before you get back to sleep. If you're not able to do that, again get that to the next date. Try ticking it, and then if you're again not able to do that, you'll feel really ashamed the third day to carry that thing to the third day, right? The first day, when you whatever you wrote there, let's say for example, I want to clean my car, is what you wrote the first day. Second day also you wrote the same thing. Third day also you wrote the same thing. You will feel so ashamed about yourself. You'll feel like, oh shit, what am I doing it? Why am I not doing it? Right? So put yourself up, get up, go out and clean your car. That is very, very important. See, trying is very, very difficult. I tell people, don't try, do it. Trying is very, very difficult. It's very difficult to do in life. The very, very thing that I would not do in life is trying. So don't try anything. Always do it. Okay, always do it. Get up, go out and do it. only you can do a few things for your life and you have to do it. Procrastination is something that we give as an excuse just to laze around in the house. Our body doesn't cooperate, our mind doesn't cooperate. This is a psychological body, right? All that we carry is not a physiological body. Of course, the organs are there, here, inside, everywhere, but then this is a psychological body. The body operates by mind. So always have this in your mind. So let's say, Harpreet, since you asked that question, if you're seeing your girlfriend or your boyfriend the next day, you won't sleep the entire night. There is kind of excitement inside of you, right? So that kind of an excitement should be there every time, every work that you do and everything that you procrastinate on. So have this in mind. Get excited about your life. I'm not this person who will feel very sad about some days. Mondays are not blues for me. Every day is a very excited day for me because I meet a lot of new people every day. Right now, today, when I see a lot of people being on this video, um, I hear that I read there's network problem and my video is not there. Raji, are you there? Okay, fine. Okay, right. All right. Thanks, Raji. Thanks, Raji. So, yes, so don't procrastinate on things because procrastinating will make you feel ashamed, make you feel guilty at one point in time. So just write down, don't get sober, don't get lazy every day. One day, 1 or 2 days is fine, but then um, get excited about living a life. When you go see patients who are dying every day, people who are sick and dying, people who are on the road traffic accidents, very unnatural deaths. If you see, um, God has given us a life, right? So we still breathe, we still alive. So what is very important is you have to manage yourself, pull up yourself. Just think today is the last day I'm going to live and live that life fully. Okay, so get excited about your life. Don't procrastinate. And depression over continuous failure. Somebody had asked me. So uh, first positive thing about this continuous failure is you're still trying, you're still doing it. So hats off to you that you're still trying and continuously failing on it. Right now, Einstein they say that he took about 999 times to create a bulb, to find out a bulb, right? So the thousandth time is when he succeeded creating a bulb. So creating light for us, in fact. So nothing wrong in failing at all. Don't get depressed over failing because you're still moving, right? So day one you tried, you failed. Day two you tried, you failed. Day 10 you tried, you failed, but you're still trying, you're still doing, you're still moving, and you're still learning, right? So there's nothing wrong in failing over and over and over again. But sometimes in life, when you're failing over relationships, when you're failing over financial things, you have to put a break there and sit down and analyze why you are failing. It is very, very important that you take lessons while you're failing. Failing is not bad at all. You need to fail to understand success. So fail, it's fine. But then take an analysis over why did I fail this time? Why did I fail in my relationship? Why did I fail in my career? Why did I fail in my exams? Right? So you need to understand why, analyze that, and then continue to progress, continue to do what you're doing. And if you're still failing at what you're doing, you have to change track, right? Sometimes you have to accept reality and change track. There are a lot of people who want to do medicine. They keep writing exams, and they keep failing and failing. So, which means it's not your cup of tea, and you have to change track, right? So you move to a different profession and try that. There's nothing wrong in trying different things. So always have plan A, plan B, till plan Z. We have 26, so you can plan, you can have a lot of plans in your life. Don't just stick on to something, keep trying, fighting over it. Don't go against it, right? Don't go against nature. Whatever is in your cup of tea, it will come to you. If you're destined to it, it will come to you, right? So don't fight for things. Just do what you have to do. If it's an exam, study. You don't have to fight it, right? So if it's an exam, just study, listen in the class. go write your exams. For me, it was always easy. It's never been a very complicated thing to study and, studying overnight, doing group studies, nothing, no drama for me. Listen in the class, come back home, write notes, study. Study the way in your style, you study it, you go write your exams. That is what is very important. Never ever think that, um, something happened, a failure happened because it just happened as a failure. No, it happened because you did not put your 100% in there, or probably it is not your cup of tea. So, trying is very important. You've tried it, well done to you, and you failed, well done to you again, because only if you fail, you know what success is. Number three, you're still trying, but don't get depressed out of it, because there are a lot of people who don't try at all, who still sit down with the same list. So don't feel depressed about the whole thing. Think of Einstein. He failed so many times. If he felt very depressed about the whole thing, we won't have lights today, right? We won't have lights at all. So maybe it took another 10, 15 years, or probably 100 years later, only we would have had lights, somebody discovering it again. So inventing it again. So failing is okay, but don't get depressed out of it. Anger is okay, but don't hurt yourself out of anger, right? Stress is okay, but then don't hurt yourself, don't hurt others, and don't waste time on stress, right? How to talk boldly, Sharada Ramamurthy. Sharada, okay. Initially, the survey generally tells us that the biggest fear is fear. For most people, the biggest fear is fear, and to talk in front of people is the biggest fear. It is not even death people fear of, but people fear of talking in front of people. As women, what is very, very important is not to be beautiful, not to be pretty and cute. If somebody tells me, Rachel, you look so beautiful, you look so pretty, so cute, and things like that, I don't appreciate that compliment at all, because I am much beyond all that comments, right? A woman is somebody who is very bold. That only makes her beautiful. So, what is being bold? A woman can actually give birth to a child, isn't it, Charada? So, it's very, very important to understand that we have created this entire globe of human beings that you see, the little human beings, the big human beings we see, was given birth by a woman, right? I have two children myself, so I know how what pregnancy is. I know what delivery is. I know the amount of pain that is involved in it. Not even one other human being, as in an opposite gender, can imagine to go through a pain like that as how a woman goes through. And she gladly dedicates herself for that, right? So that is the power of a woman. And there is no fear that is bigger than the fear of giving birth to a child. But if we can do that, I think definitely we'll be able to talk in front of people. Always they say that when you talk in front of people during public speaking, I tell my children, when I do this corporate training, they are so scared to come and talk for 1 minute in front of people. So I tell them, just imagine that everybody in front of you are dumb people. They don't even know what you're talking about, and you are the master of that subject, right? When you have that confidence, when you know your subject, there is nobody who can beat you. And the greatest fear in life is probably somebody chopping your head like that, right? Chopping your neck like that. That is scary, right? So be ready for that. In any time, when people always tell me you're very bold, I say yes, I'm very, very bold, because the last thing that I can imagine for myself is somebody chopping my head like that. I'm ready for that. I'm absolutely ready for that. I have no problem at all talking in front of people, because I know my subject, I know what I'm talking, and I know that I can genuinely talk to people. Being honest is very, very important, because that makes you look and feel beautiful for yourself and for others. So when you're honest with yourself, when you know your subject clearly, when you know what you're talking, when you know that it's a very justifiable thing that you're talking to somebody, there is no fear inside. So have faith in you. When you have faith in yourself, there is no fear outside. Okay. So faith and fear, they don't come together. Have faith in yourself, and Sharuda, you will be a better person without fear, right? Um Ranganathan, Tamarai, Selvi, I did address about that crying and things like that. What Harpreet, what is the hope for people who are suffering and struggling so much, like third stage of cancer, loss, dear? Right. Harpreet, again, that's a very good question. How do you handle when it's third stage of fear is what you've categorized fear into? Well, for me, I feel that, everybody goes into losing some family member. The grief is not very easy to get through, right? It doesn't pass. Like how I said, this too shall pass. It doesn't pass. When I lost my father 5 years back, I still remember him every time, because I carry the DNA. I see my mother, so I still have the grief inside of me. But I have not died. I have not died because my father had died, right? I take the legacy from my dad. I take that legacy, the the strengths, the very beautiful qualities that he had. I take that and I operate with that every single day. Whenever people tell me I'm very bold, I pat my father's back and I say, well, daddy, I have just got it from you, right? So how do you get out of that grief? This is how life is. We we are born someday. We come with a expiration date when we are born, right? I was born July 8. So when I came July 8, 1984, my death day is also fixed when I came in. But I cannot see it, but I still carry it, right? So just like that, you have to accept life like that, and that is reality. We cannot get into the emotional side of it and just feel like, why would people die? Last stages of cancer, how would they die? It feels really bad. There has to be one source, one means of dying for dying, right? So there is heart attack, there is cancer, there is accidents, there is a lot of other diseases that people die out of. So that is reality, and we cannot change reality, but you have to know how to swallow that. How do you swallow it? Take the good things from that people's journey who've died. Take the journey of a cancer patient. I've seen a lot of cancer survivors. I've seen a lot of cancer patients who've died. Today, I would have gone them, giving them counseling. The next day, they are gone, right? That is very hurtful, because that one day you would have given them hope, you would have given them courage to live, but the next day they are gone. There are a lot of sleepless nights I've gone through, but then there's a learning. These people fought for their lives. It's a testimonial. It's a testimonial for other people to understand that you can live your life so courageously. Take lessons from human beings. Human beings are the best people, uh, best examples you can get out of your lives. Observe every human being, observe every emotion, observe every journey. Don't become judgmental in life. If somebody is not of your own type, not of your own family type, don't be judgmental. Don't be, okay, I don't think this works. I don't think this woman will actually do good. Don't be judgmental in your life. Accept every human emotion, accept every human journey. It's beautiful to connect to another human being. Um, Try that. All right. So how to react to criticism? Criticizes. Yeah, sure. Yashoda has asked how to manage criticism, right? Yashoda, you should ask me how to handle this, because I have been raised up with a lot of criticisms when I was young, and even when I became a trainer, even now till today, there are a lot of people who keep criticizing about your work, right? About what you do, everything. People want to talk about it. For me, the thumb rule is do not roll with pigs. You all know pigs, right? Do not roll with pigs. If you roll down with pigs, pigs will like the rolling, pigs will like getting dirty, but you as a human being would not like it. So don't roll with pigs. I don't want to roll with a pig, right? So I take criticisms like that. I don't want to roll with them. I take good feedbacks. I take negative feedbacks also. I take, but I don't accept criticisms, because I filter it there, because I think to criticize me or to criticize any human being, you have to be a perfect individual for that. So sometimes when I talk on a video, when I talk, people say, "Hey, why would you go talk on a video? Yeah, this you don't even know how they are reacting on the other side and things like that." For me, I think I can genuinely talk to any people through any medium. And I'm very confident on that. I'm very honest about that whole thing. So when people criticize about that, what are you going to gain out of it? How does it even matter to them and things like that? I see a lot of people coming back to me and writing to me that this has helped me a lot. So that particular thing keeps me going. So criticisms is like just rolling with pigs, leave it aside. Negative thoughts, how do you deal with Dhanlakshmi? You have to deal with negative thoughts by positive thoughts. As I told you, just mark one day in your week, let's say Wednesday or Thursday. I will not have any negative thoughts in me. I will not complain about anything. Um, just have write it down. I will not think about anything. I will not just have it, write positivity in your hand like Nayanthara and just keep it in your hand like that. Keep looking at it the entire day. You will not think anything negative that particular day. Make it 2 days in a week, and that will become your lifestyle one point in time. So try that. It really works. When you write things and keep it, really, really works. Don't give up on writing, people. It's very important. Uh, Monisha, that's a very, very long question. There's just one more minute to go. Raji, do you have a question to address upon? Some of the common things to avoid in front of. Oh, I just left that question. Abdul Kadir, some of the common things to avoid in front of students. Abdul, I presume that you are a teacher or a professor, somebody like that, because I don't know in what perspective you're asking it, but I presume that you are a teacher. So in that case, you probably need to avoid being dishonest to your children. I have been a teacher myself. I have always shown my emotion to them. I have always shown my anger to them, my sadness to them, my worry. All of that I have shown to my children. Students can actually sense out genuinity from a teacher. So they exactly know, my daughter, she exactly knows who's a lying teacher, who's a bad teacher, who's a genuine teacher. So even if you're strict, doesn't matter, but then you have to be honest the way you're presenting yourself to your children. You have to have the genuine care for your children, for your students. Only then children can actually connect to you, right? Uh, Raji, I think I've answered almost everything. Raji is here up. All right. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, people. I hope to connect with you all probably on some social media. My name is Dr. Liddy Levlin on social media. Raji, if you can just leave out that message to them, I would love to hear from them also. Thank you very, very much for this opportunity for JNN College, your principal, and all the other management guys who took